This is the Bolton Board of Selectmen's meeting. Welcome. Pursuant to the Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general law, excuse me, Chapter 30A, Section 18, this public meeting of the Town of Bolton Board of Selectmen is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but the public can access this meeting while in progress by Zoom video communications. If you wish to participate in the meeting, please use the raise hand feature on the Zoom screen. Depending which version you have, it's either at the bottom of the screen or off to the right with the participants. First on our agenda this evening is an update on a nuisance dog complaint that the selectmen addressed at the last meeting 2 weeks ago. Is Phyllis here?
Let me take a look.
Not seeing her.
I don't see her yet.
All right.
She's there.
She
here.
is?
Yes.
Where is she?
It says iPad. Her title.
Phyllis, are you with us?
I am
Phyllis
here.
Tower?
I'm
Okay,
here.
Phyllis.
There
We
she
just
is.
started the meeting, and we'd be looking for you to give us an update on what's happened in the past couple of weeks.
Sure. The building inspector and I went out to see how the setup was off her door, because what we had talked about was having an enclosure off the door so that the dog couldn't escape. And what we found out was that her door is not at ground level. It's actually equivalent to being like a second level in a house. So having a pen that's probably is going to be a good idea. I wrote a few sentences. The residence entrance is not on the ground level. Therefore, the previous proposal for a pen off door probably will not work. Ms. Francisco stated she could get a kennel to put here. To get the dog to the pen, she would use a leash, as she has done since her last incident. I would like to propose that she continues to use a leash to contain the dog to the property instead of an enclosure. I would also like to propose that if there's any further incidents, that a citation will be issued and the kennel proposal will automatically go into effect. I would also like to suggest that if there is another incident, that a tasteful gate, perhaps a picket type gate at the top of her deck, be installed so that the dog, if it escapes out the door, that it won't be able to run down the stairs and get off the property. That's what we kind of discovered several days back when Mike and I went out.
Okay. I got to take a little detour here because I want to ask Jonathan, what's your status for the meeting as we discuss this?
Yeah, I'm present, but I won't be discussing, or I'll be voting to abstain.
Okay. Is Miss Francisco here? I don't see her name, and if she's here, could she identify herself? Okay, Stan, what's your take on the situation and Phyllis Towers' suggestions?
Well, at first blush, yeah, that on one level that's fine, but I'm a little bit torn here because the tenant is renting from Mr. Keep, who's a selectman, and you know he's got to have some stake in this issue. He just can't walk away from it and wash his hands with it. He needs to be involved in this because he's the tenant, and this is where the tenant is living with the dog. So you know, I got a problem with this. I really have a problem with this. You know, that it's convenient for Mr. Keep to just sort of abstain from this. It's his property. He has a stake in this matter, and he's doing nothing.
Well, let me go back to Phyllis Tower with a question then. In other situations like this where there's been a tenant, has the landlord been involved in the solution?
I'm trying to think if there was ever a tenant. I can't think of one that was a tenant.
We
I don't think
don't have,
ever. I
we don't
can't
have many of
remember.
those situations in this town.
Mr. Chairman, in my 12 years, I don't recall any tenant situations. I believe it was always, the dog was owned by the owner of the property. So I don't think we have any other type situation to compare it to.
Okay, but it seems appropriate that this is the dog owner's problem, not the landlord's problem. That's,
But where the tenant lives is problematic to this solution.
I understand that, but that would be the case whether or not the landlord was a selectman.
Well, that's fine. So, but he is.
Okay, but it's still the dog owner's problem to solve. And if she needs to work out something with the landlord, that's between her and the landlord.
Well, then we need to hear from the landlord what the solution is going to be.
Well,
Well,
I think everyone's waiting to see how we react to Phyllis Tower's suggestion. Is-
If we want to give that a shot, that's fine. I mean, I'm fine with that.
Okay,
I'm just disappointed that the landlord is not taking any active role here.
I understand your frustration, but I'm also trying to think, what leverage we have here and how it would apply in other circumstances, and I don't see that we have any. So I'm
I said
comfortable.
I'm fine with I'm fine with I'm fine with it.
Okay, so I'm fine with the dog is always on a leash, and if there's another incident, yeah, then the solution's gonna get escalated somehow.
That's fine.
Don, do we need to make a vote on this, or?
Yes, just to clarify, Mr. Chairman, Phyllis's recommendation is the dog remain on a leash, and if there is another incident, that automatically the pen situation is implemented. So you would not have to hear this again if there's another incident. But yeah, so I advise you to make a motion or to vote on Phyllis's recommendation as presented.
Okay, but
I
let
make a
me ask a
motion
question.
that we follow the recommendation of the animal control officer to keep the dog on the leash, and if there's another incident, then we go straight to the other option of having an enclosed pen.
Okay, I will second that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
I'll abstain.
All those abstaining? Thank you.
Roll call, Waisaki,
Aye.
Keep,
Abstain.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Phyllis.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Phyllis.
You're welcome.
Next on our agenda is
Thanks, Phyllis.
You're welcome.
as-built plans and street acceptance plan for Houghton Farm Road, and consider advancement of road acceptance. This is a possible warrant article for the annual town meeting. And is Greg Roy here?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm present.
All right, Mr. Roy, would you like to walk us through the issues as you see them?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Greg Roy with Dilson Roy. I appreciate the time this evening. I'm representing the applicant. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the street and the subdivision known as Houghton Farm, right off of Sugar Road, just to the right near the Golden Run, Sugar Road intersection. This project was originally permitted probably about 10 years ago, and has just taken 10 years to build out. So the applicant has been working over the past year or so to complete the various required improvements, finalize the various improvements as were depicted on the approved subdivision plans that were approved by the planning board. And they have completed the bulk of the significant items, such as the final paving, installation of road bounds, and that kind of thing. We have submitted both a street acceptance plan, which is effectively a plan of record that would be recorded and go along with the deed that would be delivered to the town for acceptance of the street right away, as well as a road as-built plan, which depicts all of the engineering related infrastructure that was constructed, and allows a comparison of the constructed road and infrastructure such as drainage and things. Allows you to compare the as-built condition with what was approved. Niche Engineering, working on behalf of the town, has reviewed those plans and has found that the significant items, infrastructure, sort of engineering related items have been satisfactorily constructed. There is a list of 10 or so punch list type items, such as seating and final seating and things that needs to be completed by the applicant, which the applicant has agreed to do this spring once the weather allows. I think that's it by way of summary. I'm certainly happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
Are there any questions from the selectmen?
No, I don't have any.
Are there any questions or comments from the general public? Okay. Yeah, which looks reasonable. It's a lot of it is cosmetic kinds of issues. I don't have a problem with seeing this project move forward. As this is something we are going to vote on in terms of reviewing the warrant, Don, do we need to have a vote on this in this meeting, at this point in the meeting?
No, this is informational just to inform you for your vote on the article.
Okay.
But do we have to finalize this tonight when we're going over the articles, or that's coming later?
Yes, I mean, I'll be recommending that you vote all the articles tonight possible, and this would be one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have an issue. The planning board has signed off on this. They voted to recommend acceptance. There is a written agreement of the punch list items between the town. There is some cash held in reserve, and I think everything looks, from my point of view, everything looks good. All right. So thank you, Greg.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. You don't need me to stay for your discussion of the warrant article, correct? Are you okay with?
I don't think so, unless someone else wants.
Well, no, I mean, it's gonna be really interesting, Greg, but you don't have to.
Roger that. Roger that. All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Appreciate
All
it.
right. Have a good night.
You too.
Good night now.
Next on our agenda is to review a proposed plan for a 40B housing project at Main Street from Trammell Crow Residential with Mark Baranski. This would be on the southeast portion of the intersection of 117 and 495, behind and around the country covered. So welcome, Mr. Baranski. You have some presentations you want to take us through. You seem to be muted.
Muted.
Hi, Jenny. Should I share my screen and put the presentation up?
Yes, you can do that.
Please let me know if you can see my screen.
We can see it.
Yeah,
Mark, we can't hear you.
Mark, I'll take these first couple of slides. Jenny, this is Andy Huntoon with Trammell Crow Residential speaking. Can you hear me?
I can.
yes.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for allowing us to join you this evening on this Zoom meeting. It's been a year, hard to believe, but we're still getting used to trying to do these things virtually rather than coming in person, which we strongly prefer. It's nice to share space with everybody. My name's Andy Huntoon. I've got Mark Baranski and R.E.R. Bobby with me as well tonight, but we just kind of wanted to do a quick introduction to our firm and ourselves and the project that we're looking to do on the Kane family land at the southeast corner of Main Street and Interstate 495 at 500 Main Street. And so, Ari, I can't see the screen anymore. I don't know what happened.
Apologize. Give me 1 second. I'll try to share it again.
He'll catch up. So Trammell Crow Residential, we're a family-owned company. There's the Crow family out of Dallas owns the firm. So we're not a public company. Harlan Crow is the man. Trammell Crow started the firm 45 years ago, and Harlan, his son, now runs the firm. And so, we're pretty easy to work with in the sense that kind of we're just a family shop. We've been building for a long time. Pretty much if people are going to live in it, we build it. We build housing. We don't build hotels or office buildings or anything else. We really just specialize in housing. We do a lot of suburban properties, which would be garden style communities, 3 and 4 stories. We do infill stuff in the cities, and we also do high rises downtown in some cities. Next slide, Ari. The setup of the company is it's really local offices with boots on the ground that have specialization in the areas that we live in. And so we all live in the Metro Boston area, but we've got the resources of a national company with national scope and scale. And so we've got 13 regional offices, as you can see, around the country. The next slide is just kind of some pretty pictures of stuff that has been built around the country. In the top middle there is a project that we developed and built up in Billerica, and then just other properties around the country. And I'm intentionally going a little fast on some of this stuff just so we can get into the actual project that we would like to talk with you about, which is in Bolton. Next slide, Ari. A couple of things that we've done more recently in Massachusetts, and I'll spend a little more time on these because it will inform sort of what we build and really our approach to how we do it, which I would say the number one word there for us is partnership with the communities that we work within. And, we understand that when we build buildings that they're going to be there for a long time, and they are of themselves, they are large buildings. And so it's very important for us to engage with local stakeholders, both, elected and professional appointed employees of the town, as well as the neighbors that live in the area. This property in Billerica, Mark Baranski, I don't know how many different meetings you had with people that live nearby, but a lot of them. So we were on a first name basis with all the neighbors. We worked cooperatively in the neighborhood for years while we worked on this project. And, I think at the end of the day, all the different neighbors that we worked with were pretty happy with the way this turned out. This was 178 units that we built in Billerica. It was about 18 months of construction in total, from kind of the first shovel in the ground to, when we were done and off the site. The next project that I'll show you is one down in Rentham. And the location there was pretty similar to here. It was at the intersection of Route 1 and 495. And we worked with the town on that. And I'd say really partnered with the town. It was part of a larger 56-acre mixed-use redevelopment that was done that included hotel, office, retail, and assisted living. And so we did the apartment piece there. And it was really, I think, a win-win for the town. And so, we broke ground here in March of 2018 and finished up in August of 2019. And this was 240 apartment units that we built here. Another example of a project that we're actually under construction on right now is down in Kingston, Mass, off of Route 3. There's the Kingston Collection Mall there, and the Sears store had been empty and vacant for a couple of years. And so we met with the property owners at the mall, and we went and met with the town, and the town said, hey, you know, we'd really like to transform the mall. Can we work with you on that? And we said, sure. And so it was a multi-year process of doing a zoning overlay district to allow to build multifamily here. And in the process, we helped the town secure different MassWorks grants for other public infrastructure projects that they wanted to do to help support growth in their community. You know, we started construction here the first of this year. We should open our buildings up probably in June, May, June or so of next year. But just an example of, you know, a partnership with the select board, with the planning board, and with the staff at the town to really identify a solution to a problem in the community that we were working in. Another one that we're about to break ground on is actually down in New York, outside of White Plains in the suburbs. And the town had they weren't derelict, but really obsolete office buildings, and they wanted to take those down and replace them with housing, which they needed more housing in the community. And so we worked with them on a plan to, we're going to break ground in the end of May on this one, but we've been working on this for almost 3.5 years now. So we've worked cooperatively with the planning board and other stakeholders in town to design a site plan that the town leadership thought was more in line with what they wanted to do in this district of their community. And so we were really thrilled to be able to partner with them on this one. So again, that'll open up. We'll start construction on that shortly. Just kind of gives you an idea of the types of stuff we do. And again, I think the key word for us is just cooperation. And, you know, we want to be good neighbors. We want to be good partners, which is why we wanted to reach out and have an opportunity to introduce ourselves to you and show you what we're thinking our vision for the property is, and sort of start to engage dialogue more broadly with the community. Mark, I'll turn it over to you in just a minute, but the piece of property that we have under contract, it's probably everybody knows where the Country Cupboard and the Dunkin' Donuts is, just off 495 there. And the piece of land that's just out back and to the southwest of that, the Kane family has owned for, I don't know, a long time. And it's been, you know, they've tried to have it be a couple of things along the way, I think, and between recessions and this and that and the other, it hasn't worked out. And we think it's a perfect spot to put multifamily housing. So Kathy Adams, who's a member of the Kane family, we've been working with her to come up with a concept plan that we think makes a lot of sense for the property. We've had a chance to talk to Dawn a couple of times, which is how we ended up getting on this agenda. And we really wanted to sort of bring it forward and show you what our vision for it is. And so, Mark, if you could walk through sort of what we're looking at here, and we'd love to, you know, get feedback from you guys.
No, can't hear you.
Mark, you got to unmute it on the computer. On your screen in the bottom left, you got to hit the mute button.
Okay, how about now?
I can hear you.
Well, you would think after literally 364 days, I would know how to do this. Sorry about that. I guess I need that last day of the year to wrap it up. Yeah, thank you. As Andy said, you know, this isn't our first rodeo. This is what we do. We build housing. We build communities, and we spend a lot of time working with the stakeholders, as Andy noted, trying to understand their concerns, their needs, and to be responsive to those. Sometimes we can say yes, sometimes we have to say no, and sometimes it's in between. But, you know, we really want to be on the ground and talking to people. You know, so when we started thinking about this project, you know, we actually had a conversation with the fire chief just to talk. It's usually one of my first conversations, just to talk through fire access for a proposed site plan and get feedback on what the issues and concerns are. And from that conversation, you know, we learned about some of the height issues in town and the reach that the fire equipment has, and that then became some conversations with Mr. Lau and Ms. Uriarty and Ms. Jacobson on some thoughts we had, some solutions that may address that as well. So what I'd like to do is show you where our site plan is now. We've had a couple iterations of it. It's by no means locked in. We think it's probably where it needs to be, but again, we're looking for feedback and kind of engagement. The screens that you have in front of you are just visuals, again, of the projects in Billerica and Rentham that we've built, and certainly this is representative of the type of product we would intend to build in the town of Bolton. This is Class A. I don't know if I'd say luxury. I mean, it's quite handsome, lovely homes for your neighbors and for other people that want to become your neighbors in the community. This is really nice stuff.
And Mark, if I could interrupt 1 second, I'm sorry. And, I think one of the other things that we really try to do is we try to make it housing that's going to work for, a lot of different folks. And so it's fully elevator serviced. And so what we found is, a lot of the people that like to live in these are people that have owned a home in communities for a number of years. And frankly, they don't want to own a house anymore. And they don't want to deal with the headache of owning a house. And they'd like to have an elevator to be able to get upstairs and those types of things. And so it really works for a lot of people. They're amenity-rich properties in the sense that, there's a Wi-Fi enabled. Can you go to the lounge slide, Ari, the resident lounge slide? So the goal is to really build community. We build social spaces that, if you're there during the day, there's people there all day long. And in the evenings, folks come out of their homes and they come down and they make friends with their neighbors. And, there's workstations where they could, work on their computer, read a paper. There's billiard halls, there's a fitness center. And so it really does provide a really high quality of life for the people that we'll call it home. Sorry, Mark.
That's all right. Thank you. And so please, if people have questions, don't hesitate to, just offer those. Ari, can you jump to the site plan, please? So actually, this is a good start. We've referenced the location before. We're assuming you all are familiar with the country covered and the dunks, but if not, this is the site. It's kind of an interesting site. It's almost like a barbell. Our program is focused on the westernmost chunk of the barbell, so west of the Dunkin' Donuts. Interesting site. It has some challenges to it in terms of topography and other issues that we really spent a lot of time working on to try and make it fit. Ari, next slide, please. So this is what we're thinking about is four structures. And we're breaking up the massing for a couple reasons. One is it really, it helps it from potential views from the street, but also because of the topography on the site, it really just kind of made itself necessary to do. You'll note some areas that on the leftmost plan, we will be building a private wastewater treatment plant to accommodate sewage demand on the site, as well to kind of the south of the site plan. There's a well zone 1 area, which we are building outside of, obviously, to accommodate clean water. We've also, as I mentioned in speaking with the fire chief, one of the things we were trying to figure out is how, the equipment that the town of Bolton has right now cannot accommodate a 4-story building. We focused on a 4-story building so that it minimizes the amount of footprint that we have on the site. And one of the solutions that we came up with, which I frankly am quite pleased with, is the ability to accommodate ladders on the site. And in the upper corner, you'll see sort of like a shed design. Thank you, Ari. That is is holding ladders. I don't know that it's the final solution, and we'll touch on that in a moment. But when we spoke with the chief and we got some feedback on his concerns, we then connected with the architect, and kind of amazingly enough, no one's ever devised an on-site ladder storage system. So this is something we think is an option. It isn't the only option, as I've sort of suggested, but it's one. And if you look at the site, and it probably can't zero in, but Ari's nice enough to highlight it, we've noted areas on the sides of garages where we'd have ladder storage. This gives the fire crew an opportunity to get on the site and set up ladders that are there for their for their use. The details of that in terms of how they're stored, that's part of the conversation. We've talked to the chief about testing all of that's all part of the conversation. I'm very comfortable we can get that resolved. If you look over towards the right panels on the plan, you'll note that we have a clubhouse. As Andy kind of suggested, the clubhouse is kind of the heart and soul of our developments. And, it's our goal to create communities. We want our residents coming downstairs, interacting with their neighbors, using the facility for work and for play. Needless to say, COVID kind of threw a wrench in that over the last year, but we hope that that it'll still become a really important and useful component of the community. The lower panel kind of suggests, there's a lot of movement because of the topography of the site. All the buildings are 4-story buildings, but there is some topographic changes between all of them. Any questions? Sure.
What's the acreage here that you're working with, and what was the acreage in the Billerica project?
The acreage on this site is considerably larger than Billerica. Considerably larger. All right, how many acres are we?
There's our site in Billerica was, I want to say it was 7.6 acres, but it's been a little bit. I don't quite remember it off the top of my head.
Just 7.5 acres?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's a little bit of a puzzle. Just, we're going to build the on-site sewer system, and we'll build the on-site potable water supply as well, kind of on the south side of the site, on the back of the property up near the Boy Scout property. So, it's kind of trying to figure out how to fit the chess pieces on the table, working around those areas that you have to stay away from for the wells and the sewer areas.
The other thing that surprises me is the entrances are not lined up with the stoplight. What's the?
Yeah, we've had conversations with Mass DOT, and we're still talking to them, frankly. And so, Mass DOT is going to be they'll be the one that says where that's going to go, and so that's not finalized yet. But they're gonna get to tell us where that goes. So we're trying to figure that out with them now.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any further questions on this slide? So again, as Andy alluded, the site is challenging, and we're trying to kind of make sufficient density fit on what is really, interestingly enough, a fairly tight site from all the constraints. And as Andy said, with the Mass MDOT, we've had conversations with MDOT, and we think we have some solutions. I don't think we're quite there yet, but I think we'll be able to expand on that in future meetings. Ari, can you jump to the next slide? Is that it? Okay. And this is probably just a little bit more color. So the program itself, we are looking at 240 housing units. This would be, compliant with Mass 40B. We can talk through the process itself, but we envision 25% of the units being affordable to the 80% AMI, area median income of the town. And below you can see the mix. That's probably subject to a little bit of tweaking. It always kind of changes. We tend to have a good chunk of ones and 2s. And, really, in some respects, we have almost, 6% studios and 10% 3s to offset it. The bulk of the units are 1s and 2s. And so, we're in the early stages, but we thought it'd be prudent to make sure the select board and members of the town and the town's professionals kind of aware of where we are. We see this as the start of the conversation. We want your feedback. We want to hear what you like and don't like about this. As I said, we want to engage. There's sometimes that we're probably going to have to say no, we just can't accommodate that. There's times we're going to definitely say yes, we can accommodate that. But this is an important part of the process because it allows us to start the conversation. We can't respond to questions and concerns that we aren't aware of.
Very good. Don, will we be able to post this where other people in town can take a look at it?
Yes, we could find an appropriate spot on the website. It's a public document now. It's been presented at a public meeting.
Excellent. Any other comments or questions from the selectmen?
Yep. So first of all, the site plan you showed is very kind of basic. It doesn't really show a lot of, subtlety in relationship to the site, as well as what Bob mentioned in relationship to the traffic patterns and lights. So I understand this is a first meeting, but I definitely like to see something that's more real than this. This is kind of like a cartoon. I do have, big issues with the 4 stories. We really don't have 4-story buildings in Bolton, and there are definite safety concerns with that, as well as aesthetic concerns. So this is a prime spot. Everybody driving north on 495 who gets off the exit, this is going to be the first thing they see. And some of the pictures you showed of your developments were nice, but some were very cookie cutter and could be in Texas or Florida or Arizona. So I'd really like to see architectural expression that has a sense of place and reflects Bolton. Right now, it just is, looks like barracks or something, just, really not very beautiful.
But, and thanks for that feedback, Mr. Keep. In speaking with Ms. Uriarty, we are aware of the design review board process in the town. And, when we get to the point where we can really, dig into the architectural components, we look forward to working with the town, getting the feedback. We do try to create a character to our communities that is indicative of the town they're in. So I think your comments are valid. I don't know if this is a cartoon, but this is very conceptual. You're right. And we have ways to go. But as I said, we'd like to start the conversation. This is the sort of feedback we're looking for.
And so what about the 4-story issues?
I have a question. I mean, the whole parcel's about.
I'm sorry, who spoke?
Froze.
Yeah, I just had a follow-up question about the 3 and the 4-story issues.
Yeah, so we really are focused on a 4-story solution. As I said, the site's very, very constrained. It doesn't allow us to have the building footprint we'd like. If we had more area for building footprint, it would be much easier to go to a 3-story solution, which is, again, one of the reasons why we started having conversations with the fire chief. I think that's part of the conversation. We spent a lot of time trying to come up with a solution that can accommodate the life safety concerns of the fire chief. I think aesthetically, we can look at view planes from 495 and from 117 to assess, what the visual impact is of a 4-story solution. there is quite a bit of knob or ledge at the front of the site, and it's also heavily vegetated. So, you know, I think you will certainly be able to see it from some angles, but I also think that from other angles, it won't be a prevalent view. But it's something we'll continue to explore.
Stan? Okay, Stan's screen froze again.
Yeah, I
Are
just
you
said.
going to be taking over the entire 27-acre parcel or just portion of it?
Yeah, Ari, if you can go back to the I think this yeah, right here. Right now,
Are you
all of our
taking over all of the 27 acres or just a portion?
We've got the whole 27 acres under contract, and so we will be buying the whole 27 acres. Can you go back to the slide, Ari, that says development site that shows the intersection?
Oh,
It's back a couple. All right. Well, so the site, there's a strip of land that runs behind the Dunkin' Donuts and the mobile that kind of connects the east
Right.
and west portions of the site. And then there is a chunk of land over at 117 and 85 as well. There's probably another, I don't know, call it 6 acres over there. And so we're still studying if there's going to be a way to utilize that portion of the site or not. And, you know, how we would be able to connect the two on the back of the site there. If there's an ability to put a driveway along that connector strip of land, if you will, that runs behind the Dunkin' Donuts and the mobile. So, you know, for right now, we've really kind of focused in on the western portion of the site. But we're continuing to explore to see if, you know, how we'd be able to incorporate anything over on the other portion of the site, you know,
Okay.
concurrently.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd just suggest that, you know, you might want to consider portions of the site that aren't immediately usable for this project, that you consider, you know, leaving them as open space. And
Well,
that would
know,
include the
yeah,
corner.
it's worth
117
considering, but
and
I don't think we're going to we should be asking for a commitment this evening.
No, we're bringing
Right.
up issues, Bob.
Okay.
And so that would be something I think it would be important to consider.
Are there any questions from the other people, other than the selectmen who are participating in tonight's meeting? Please raise your hand. Brian Boyle. Go ahead.
Yeah, I apologize. Oh, sorry, Brian Boyle from Sampson Road. I apologize if I missed this, but did you say these would be rentals or for ownership?
These would be rentals, and you know, we may not have iterated that clearly. So we really only build rental housing communities.
Got it. Okay, so 25% would be affordable, but 100% of the units would be counted toward the SHI.
That's correct. Yes.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you very much. It's very interesting. It's a lot to think about. I'm sure as more people view these slides, we'll be getting feedback from the community, and we look forward to hearing from you again. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Good night. Next, review and finalize the annual town meeting warrant for May 3rd with town council Brian Falk and Doug Story. Don, you want to walk us through this process?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the time of year where the Board of Selectmen walks through the entire warrant with town council and the town moderator. For the Board of Selectmen, really, to vote as many recommendations as you can tonight. Obviously, you won't be able to vote a recommendation on something like Article 3 until the budget numbers are done, but I think many, if not most of the rest, you can vote tonight. It's an opportunity for the town moderator to hear firsthand what these articles are about and any potential questions or issues. We have town council present, who will also be present with us at town meeting. If any technical advice needs to be given. So this is a practice we've done for 11 or 12 years now, and it's a really good prep for all of us for town meeting, and it's our first opportunity to really try to inform the public on the contents of the warrant as well. So it serves many purposes, but I would suggest, Mr. Chairman, either I think you can just kind of take them one by one. And unless there are any questions that anybody has that any one of us can answer, you'll want to discuss recommendations for the articles.
Okay, so Article 1 is accept town reports. Any questions or comments about the town reports? Is there a motion to for the selectmen to recommend for or against the accepting annual town reports?
So moved.
Mr. Chairman, are you gonna put this stuff on the screen?
I'm sorry, I have it. I have it on my screen. I
Mr.
didn't
Chairman, are
realize
you
it
gonna
was-
put this stuff on the screen?
Yep, okay.
I can share it.
Jenny, please, thank you. Annual town reports. Is there a motion to for the selectmen's recommendation? on
Oh,
annual
well,
town
there was a
report?
motion. I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor
I'll
of
second the mo-
recommending
I'll second the
acceptance of the
motion that
town
was
reports, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Jenny,
Roll call. Sorry, I had to make sure I was unmuted. Roll call, Waisaki,
aye,
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
aye.
Thank you.
Next up is unpaid bills for fiscal 19 and fiscal 20. Looks like there's about $7,000 in totals. Is there a motion on Article 2?
motion to approve, motion to put it on the warrant.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye,
Roll call, Waisaki,
aye,
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, Article 3 is not ready for a vote yet. That's the budget. Article 4 is spending limits of the revolving fund accounts. Are there any questions, or is there a motion on Article 4?
make a motion, we approve.
Second.
All those in favor of recommending approval of Article 4, please say aye.
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 Aye,
Roll call, Waisaki,
aye,
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Article 5 is a amendment to the Advanced Life Support Revolving Fund to add a second signatory. The town administrator would have to be a signatory to any purchase of $25,000 or more.
make a motion, we approve.
Second.
All those in favor of approving Article 5, please say aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Roll call, Waisaki,
aye,
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, wastewater treatment facility repairs. This article, there was a stabilization fund for the wastewater treatment plant approved by the town a few years ago. It's become cumbersome to use. So the recommendation of this article is to take the money out of there and just put it into a separate article where it would be available as needed. There would be $21,000 in change taken out of the existing article, and there would be an additional $25,000 from free cash put into this article.
Just one point, Mr. Chairman, the $21,000 is coming from the stabilization fund, not a previous article, which is why the vote required is a 2/3 majority and not a
Okay,
simple
I'm sorry,
majority.
I did know that, I misstated that. Is there a recommendation or questions on Article 6?
I'll make a motion to approve Article 6.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nay?
Aye.
Roll call, Wysocki,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Tax title revolving fund. This is put some seed money to for legal purposes and publicity in those situations where the town is taking land due to non-payment of taxes. It would be funded in the future out of the sale of that land. Is there a motion or questions on Article 7?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Roll call, Wysocki,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Article 8, Injured on Duty Fund, creates a special fund for the payment of injury, leave, or compensation of police officer, firefighters, according to Massachusetts general law. Are there any questions or a motion on Article 8?
May I interrupt?
Motion to approve.
Jenny?
Go ahead, Jenny.
I'm just noticing that there's one correction that didn't get carried over to the final draft. The name of the article is going to change to Injury Leave Indemnity Fund.
Okay,
That's fine. I still move we approve.
I'll-
Subject to the
Second.
change the name, that's fine.
did I hear a second?
Yep, second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Roll call, Wysocki,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Article 9 is a change to the personnel policies, bylaws of town. Requires a approval at the annual town meeting. Basically, the intent is that currently anybody who at any time worked for the town of Bolton can choose to retire and join the town of Bolton's health benefits plan. This would change that so that only employees who retire directly from the town will be eligible to participate in that plan. Are there any questions or a motion on Article 9?
Motion to approve Article 9.
Motion to approve.
I'll second both of those. All those in favor, please say aye.
Yes,
Aye.
motion to
Aye.
approve. Aye.
Roll call, Wysocki,
Stan, you're frozen. Did we lose him?
Yep.
Let's give him a moment.
yeah, start with Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky,
Aye.
Wysocki. Right now you're muted, Stan. Can you give me a thumbs up oh, there you go.
No, I do all these meetings from 5 o'clock in the morning till late in the evening, and this is the only meeting that I have a problem with. So I don't think it's me.
That's because your neighbors are home and they're using their Wi-Fi too.
No, I'm sorry. I do this all the time, and I'm talking to folks in Europe and the Middle East and China, and I have no problems. So, Don, you got to upgrade the internet connection.
See what we can do.
Jenny, are we done with Article 9 or are we still working on it?
I don't think I heard an aye from Stan yet.
Aye.
There we go. Thank you.
That one.
Yeah, you're very welcome. With that, I'm glad.
Article 10, name change the Board of Selectmen to Select Board. We have some choices at this point, which we weren't aware of a week or so ago. And that is that we can do this informally, or we can do it formally. And if we do it formally, it goes through a home rule petition. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay, it goes through a home rule petition through the State House. And also the voting requirements are different, because if we want to also make the change throughout all the bylaws, including the planning board bylaws, I believe it then requires a 4/5 quorum to pass. A simple majority will not suffice. I don't see it here. Is it 4/5?
No, it would be 2/3.
It'd be 2/3 that we need instead of a simple majority. So the selectmen need to decide which way they would want to proceed on this. I'm in favor of taking it through all the bylaws, making it very official, and including the zoning bylaws as well as the non-zoning bylaws.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, Brian Falk, Town Council. In addition to being a 2/3 vote to amend the zoning bylaw, the planning board would have to hold a hearing, notice a hearing on the zoning bylaw amendment. And that can be done as late as 5 minutes before town meeting, but it does have to be a noticed public hearing of the planning board to review that bylaw amendment to the zoning bylaw.
Okay. Do we think that it would be difficult to get this on the agenda of the planning board between now and town meeting?
No, it shouldn't be a
Well,
problem.
before we even go there, what's the difference between formal and informal? Because that wasn't clear to me.
Brian, you want to answer that?
Sure. You may be aware that the general laws, Mass General laws, use selectmen and selectman all throughout. Some recent statutes have started using, and or, because many towns have started doing what Bolton is proposing here. You may also be aware that in Western Massachusetts, boards have been known as the select board for 100 some odd years. It's just a local custom. They call themselves the select board. They're known locally as the select board. Their letterhead says the select board. They don't necessarily have anything specific that does this. That's just what they've always called themselves. But when you look at the general laws, unless they have a charter or a special act themselves, if you just look at the general laws, it still says selectmen and selectman. And so what I've suggested is, towns may just decide to go the route that many in Western Mass have done and just start calling themselves that. Put it on your letterhead and just be known as that. The issue, of course, is that hasn't been the case forever in Bolton, and it may raise some doubts. It hasn't posed a problem in other parts of the state, but it could, because we've always been known as the Board of Selectmen in Bolton. And so An informal route is just to simply adopt it by board policy. It wouldn't go to anywhere else, but it would be informal. The
Right.
process we have laid out here is the formal process. We amend all of our bylaws. And then for belt and suspenders, just to clarify the fact that the general laws all say selectmen and selectman, we have a special act just for Bolton that says we are the select board. And many other towns that with similar forms of government as Bolton have done, just this.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you for that explanation. My view is, well, one, in general, I don't have a problem with this, but what I have a problem with is the $4,000 to $6,000 it's going to cost to do this, and the fact that this is not being generated by any citizen, but being generated by one member of the select board or selectmen, and perhaps going along by a second one. There was a question I asked a number of weeks ago about this, which wasn't answered. If you guys are really strong on doing this, then if you really are, then the two of you should write a check to the town of Bolton to cover the cost of this. If not, I would suggest at this point in time, we do it the informal way, and sometime in the future, when we've got an extra $4,000 to $6,000 lying around that we don't know what to do with, we can do it then. So that's my position on this matter.
Every bylaw that we are considering this year has a cost associated with it. And you've not asked about the cost of implementing any of them. So I don't know why you're only singling out this one for being preoccupied with the cost on. The administrative bylaw to change the retirement benefits, the bylaws proposed by the planning board, all of them have a cost associated with it. They're not free to put into to change the bylaws to incorporate them. So I don't know why you're.
I'm well aware of that, Mr. Chairman, but we don't need to spend the money on this. It's you that wants to make this change. It's not being driven by the citizens.
But
we don't need to do this now.
This doesn't get decided by me.
We don't need to do this now.
This gets
we can do
decided
it
by
in
the
an
citizens.
informal fashion.
This doesn't get decided by me. This gets decided by the citizens.
I
asking
think words
if you really
matter.
feel strong about it. Do you want to? Why don't you stroke a check to do this?
I will take my stipend from that the town gives me, and I will turn it over to help pay for this. It won't cover the entire amount, but I will take the stipend that the town gives me annually and give it back in order to pay for this.
I just add that words matter, and I can only think of one select woman who's been on the board. Maybe there've been more, but I think it's important for everybody to be able to see themselves leading this town on the select board. So I'm in favor of this change.
Don?
I think we should do it informally.
I just wanted to point out that I discussed this with town clerk Pam Powell, who was hoping to be here tonight, but she's unable to be. That she has a line item in her budget of $1,700 annually to cover the cost of any changes to any bylaws, and I believe her estimate for this was about $1,600 or $1,800, and she's pretty comfortable that with her budget, most, if not all, of the bylaw changes can be covered. And if anything that can't be covered would be a fairly minimal expense over and above her budget.
So I'll make a motion to approve the article.
For the formal process or the informal process?
The formal process.
I will second that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Nay,
Roll call, Waisaki,
nay,
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Article 11, a change in the zoning bylaws to permit accessory apartments and other permitted uses. There are some comments in here from Attorney Falk. I don't know if the planning board has had a chance to review them and comment on them, or had they seen them before this was sent to the selectmen?
I don't believe they saw them, Mr. Chairman. I did review them with Erica this afternoon, and I believe Erica's on in case we need any guidance from her. But she did indicate that she believes the planning board, as far as the comment on 7B, that she felt that the planning board would want to keep that as is and wasn't concerned about the 2/3 majority, or wouldn't be concerned about the 2/3 majority. And the other comment relative to the banning of condominiums, given Brian's comment on that, Erica didn't feel that it would be a concern to strike B, since it probably wouldn't be upheld in court anyway. So that was the input that we had from her this afternoon. So, and by doing so, if 7A is left as is, then 8C becomes moot, and then we would just strike 8B and leave the vote required as a 2/3 majority.
So then the protections there, we're relying on the planning board to protect us. How, in terms of selling off accessory apartments, what are we relying on, Erica? Is
Hi,
Erica there?
Jonathan. Yes,
Hi.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
That's a great question. And to be honest with you, Jonathan, I haven't been able to really digest these comments yet. I just saw them, like Don had said, this afternoon. So that's something that I'd have to think about in terms of the town's protection. Yeah, I just don't know the answer to that currently. But that's
Okay.
certainly, that's something that the planning board could think about and get back to you on.
So we should hold off on this one, this article, this one.
Was the planning board meeting before the end of March?
Yeah, their next meeting will be on March 24th, and I can have them weigh in on that.
When's our next meeting? The 25th?
25th. So the planning board will have been able to weigh in before you need to finalize the warrant.
Okay. I'm more comfortable waiting for the planning board's recommendation on these notes. Stan, are you okay, or do you want to move forward?
no, we can wait. It's fine.
Okay. So Article 12, temporary signs. This has mostly to do with changing the rules around real estate signs after a piece of property is sold. I don't have any questions on it. Do any of the other selectmen have questions or like to make a motion?
Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Roll call, Waisaki. Keep,
Aye.
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Article 13, is a long article about outdoor lighting. Erica, there was some feedback about this was very detailed. Is this still the format that or the form that the planning board would like the town to consider?
This is, so what you're reviewing tonight is the current, preferred language from the board. I would say, Bob, is that they did take your comments into consideration, and we did pull a lot of the technical requirements out of this and would be added into rules and regulations if this did pass. So if you scroll down through that proposed bylaw, you'll see at the very end, there's a statement there that says, it gives the planning board the right to issue rules and regulations to go with this bylaw. So a lot of that technical information has been pulled out.
Okay. Do the selectmen have any questions or wish to make a motion?
No, where are the regulations?
We haven't developed them yet.
Well,
I mean,
in the past, when a bylaw like this was done, the rules and regulations were also published at the same time. And when I was on the planning board, we did that.
Yeah, we could certainly do that. Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with passing judgment on this until we see the rules and regulations. If they pulled a lot of stuff out, then they need to get rules and regulations.
But Stan, you're the one that argued that it was too detailed before.
No, I'm not saying I want it back in, but what we said was they need to take the stuff out and put it in rules and regs. So where are the rules and regs that go along with this bylaw?
But won't we be voting on the rules and regulations too?
No, we don't. The rules and regs are independent of the bylaw. The rules and regs don't go.
Then it's just going to confuse the issue.
I believe we need to see to get a first cut of what the rules and regs look like.
Well, the rules are right in front of us. They're
No,
just
they're
talking
not.
about the technical information.
No, the number 7, the planning board may issue regulations to go with this. Now, there was a lot of stuff that they pulled out of this. Then they should put it in rules and regs.
Okay, but then the town vote turns to a discussion on, are the rules and regs correct? And the whole point of taking them out of this article was to avoid that, which I'm still in favor of.
Yes, I'm absolutely in favor of it, but there should be some corresponding rules and regs. When I was on the planning board, when we had an article that referenced rules and regs, we had a baseline set of rules and regs done, just to have them done, and not have them hanging out there.
Okay,
well, that was the best practice what we did.
I would leave that up to the planning board and people at town meeting. If the people at town meeting want to see some of the regulations before they vote this article, that's fine. If the planning board wants to issue some of those regulations before town meeting in anticipation of that discussion, that's fine. But unless there's some issue with the article itself, I'm ready to vote on it.
I am ready.
Go right ahead. Fine. Let's go. I'm all in favor of. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Fine.
Motion to approve, is it Article 13? Is it 13?
Yes, it's Article
It
13.
is 13.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
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 I'm sorry, who was the second on that?
Stan seconded it.
Okay. Roll call. Wysocki,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Article 14 is a article to accept the Houghton Farm Road, transfer ownership from the developer to the town of Bolton, and the town of Bolton takes over all the responsibilities.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Roll call, Waisaki,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Security camera systems, these are for the police department. And for, oh, this one is for the town common. I'm sorry. This is for the security camera system at the town common. And are there any questions or a motion on Article 15?
Motion to approve.
I'll second that. All those in favor of approving Article 15, please say aye.
Aye.
Roll call, Waisaki,
Aye.
Keep,
Nay.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Article 16 is a cruiser camera system. This installs cameras in the police cruisers for monitoring traffic stops and other events. Are there any questions
Motion to
or a
approve.
motion on Article 16?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor of approving Article 16, please say aye.
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 Roll call, Waisaki,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Article 17 authorizes the town to borrow the full cost of $800,000 for a new fire truck. Are there any questions or a motion on Article 17?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Roll call, Waisaki,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Article 18 is the authorization to transfer from ambulance receipts the sum up to $257,000 for a new ambulance. Are there any questions or a motion on Article 18?
I have a question, if you don't mind. That is a separate fund than the Article 4 fund you're talking about, I assume, which has a current limit of 250 according to Article 4.
Yeah,
That's ALS.
That's
That's
the advanced
ALS.
life support. This is this is the ambulance fund that we've had for years and years and years.
Sure. All right. Thanks.
The ALS revolving fund just
Yep.
started a year or so ago.
All right. Thanks.
No problem.
Motion to
To
approve
approve.
Article 18.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of approving Article 18, please say aye.
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 Roll call, Waisaki,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Article 19 is to purchase through borrowing a new dump truck for the DPW. Are there any questions or a motion on Article 19?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Roll call.
Mis-
Sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to point out that the way this article is written, you kind of got ahead of me here. The way this article is written currently assumes borrowing, and it assumes 2.5 borrowing, and I think that advisory may, after advisory has had a chance to discuss it, they may come back and suggest that we do it within, we borrow within 2.5 rather than going. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't take the vote tonight. I'm saying you may want to take another vote on the 25th if advisory makes a suggested change.
So advisory is considering not making this exempt from Proposition 2.5?
They've not had a chance to discuss it yet, Mr. Chairman. So they haven't had that conversation. I've discussed it with Brian, and it would seem like we have an opportunity to borrow within 2.5, but that's just a possibility. So that, I just want to make that point.
So why don't we wait?
Yeah, I'm okay with waiting.
Fine.
Okay. Article 20,
Motion to approve.
this is the plow and other equipment that would go on the dump truck to be acquired in an as yet unknown manner. Is there a motion on Article 20? Oh, Stan made a motion.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 I'm sorry, but just to clarify, this has nothing to do with the previous article. This is the equipment that will go on the dump truck that we are purchasing through Chapter 90 funds.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Roll call, Waisaki,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
aye.
Thank you.
Article 21, Town Building Evaluation. This is a effort to hire an outside group to evaluate the condition and put together basically a plan for the maintenance and upkeep of town buildings.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Roll call, Waisaki,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Article 22 is the library driveway replacement. Are there any questions or a motion on Article 22?
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Roll call, Waisaki,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Florence Sawyer School boiler. Is there a motion or other questions on Article 23?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor of approving Article 23, please say aye.
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 Roll call, Waisaki,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Article 24 appropriates $20,000 to clean the air ducts at the new portion of the Emerson School. Are there questions or a motion on Article 24?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Roll call, Waisaki,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Article 25 is replacement of smoke detectors at the Florence Sawyer School. Are there questions or a motion on Article 25?
We'll move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Roll call, Waisaki,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Article 26 appropriates $30,000 to remove an oil tank from the Florence Sawyer School.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor of Article 26, please say aye.
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 Roll call, Waisaki,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Article 27 authorizes the town election. Is there a motion on Article 27?
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Roll call, Waisaki,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Was there a copy of the selectman statement distributed?
Yes. I can share that now as well.
Yes.
I see Brian Boyle has his hand up as
Oh,
well.
sorry. Yes, Brian.
Yeah, excuse me, Mr. Chairman. I realize you already voted on Article 8, but I wanted to ask a clarification so that advisory is aware when we talk about it next week. This is the indemnity fund. It doesn't look like the article describes any specific funding sources or amounts, and I'm not actually familiar with the statute. So can anyone speak to whether there's a financial commitment or something that we need to plan for with respect to Article 8?
Yeah, I'll defer to Don Lowe on that.
Jenny,
What?
oh, you can, I didn't know you could hear me. I'm sorry. I
We
thought it was on mute. Oops. All right.
He
you could
doesn't
see me-
use, he doesn't usually yell for me, just so you know.
I panicked and
I
forgot
wouldn't
I was
allow
on
that.
television. Okay,
You have 16 witnesses, Jenny.
I know. So, so as far as Article 8 goes, there is no, well, the funding sources, the whole reason for this, Brian, is that when we have someone out injured on duty, and normally it's a police officer, but it's not always a police officer. Could be any public safety person, could be DPW worker. We pay 50% of the salary of the person who's out injured, and our insurance pays the other half. When we pay 50, the insurance covers it, but then when money comes back to us from the insurance company, we can't put it right now. We can't put it back into the police department or whatever budget. It goes into the general fund. So by adopting this statute, it allows us to repurpose that money in the same fiscal year for that budget. So really all it's allowing us to do is capture a portion that comes back from the insurance company.
Got it. Thank you. That's really helpful. Thanks.
Brian Falk, did I say that okay?
Perfect.
Thank you. I promise not to yell again.
Okay, next is review and comment on the Board of Selectmen statement for the inclusion in the town warrant. Do you want to put that up, Jenny, or?
Isn't it up right now?
Oh, there you go. Okay, thank you. Do the selectmen have any comments or questions?
That's fine.
This looks good. I'll make a motion to approve the statement.
Okay,
Second that.
thank you. All those in favor of approving the statement, please say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Roll call, Wysocki,
All right.
Keith,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye. All right, now, the moment we've all been waiting for, the town administrator report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I would like to report that with the latest numbers out from the state tonight, Bolton remains green with a total of total increase of 9 cases. As far as the area towns go, Harvard and Berlin are gray, Lancaster and Stowe are green, Hudson is yellow, and Clinton is yellow. And the state announced tonight that the number of communities that are in the high risk category has dropped from 19 to 12. So that's the lowest we've been in quite some time. And the rolling 7-day positivity rate seems to be hovering right around 1.7%. So certainly positive trends. Aside from that, I just wanted to point out informationally for the board that Town Clerk Pam Powell has reminded us all boards and committees and town employees that it's time for our ethics training again. Seems like we just took it, but we didn't. And the notice went out to all boards and committees. We all need to do it. I've already taken mine and I've submitted my certification into Pam. Just very important that it be completed. I believe April 9th or thereabouts is the deadline. I don't have the date in front of me, but that sounds about right. So just a reminder to everyone, and I'll be reminding all the town employees as well. So the selectmen can set an example and get their ethics training done early.
Mine is done.
And mine's done, so. So unless anybody has any questions for me, that's all I have this evening, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Board of Selectmen business. Are there any public service announcements?
No, thanks.
Tonight.
Okay, next I would like to initiate the town administrator review process. This is an annual event where the selectmen individually provide a written review of the town administrator's work in the past year, particularly against the goals that were set for him by the selectmen last year. Traditionally, it is the chairman of the Board of Selectmen who takes those written reports and pulls them together and sits down with the town administrator to deliver the annual review. So at this point, I'm asking if there's any questions about the process and if there's a motion authorizing me to collate all that information and deliver the annual review to the town administrator.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Roll call, Waisaki,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
and Sikansky.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next, will the board approve payroll bills and warrants W21-18 and W21-18A?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Roll call,
Aye.
Waisaki,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
There were some minutes handed out earlier this week, distributed earlier this week. I don't know if other people had a chance to review them. If they
Yes.
did, we would vote on them tonight. Otherwise, we will have to vote on them at the next meeting. These are from the February 25th meeting of the Selectmen.
They are ready. Let me share them now.
Did you get feedback from everybody?
I did.
Oh, excellent.
So thank you all for being so quick. Can you see them?
Nope.
Yeah, there's something a little funny. Hang on, let me try that again. There we go. Okay, so a couple small changes. Both in blue and in red. Sorry, Jonathan, I had you as a no when you were a yes up there. And I had our vote to go into executive session in duplicate. There was the addition of Mr. Waisaki was also concerned over the lack of a clear and concrete plan for the business. And is that everything? Yep. That was it.
Excellent. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of February 25th?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of February 25th, open session.
Second,
All those in favor, please
Second.
say aye. Aye.
Aye,
Roll
aye,
call, Waisaki,
aye,
Keep,
aye,
Sikansky.
aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, the board will move into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to discuss strategy with respect to contract negotiations with non-union personnel, specifically the fire chief, and to discuss strategy with respect to contract negotiations with non-union personnel, specifically the police chief. The board will return to open session with the possibility of voting on ratification of employment agreements. Is there a motion to enter executive session?
so moved.
Second,
All those in favor, please say aye.
aye,
Aye,
Aye.
Roll call, Waisaki,
aye.
Keep,
aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
And it's 8:36. Give me a few minutes to move people. a well-oiled machine.
The complicated agenda tonight, it's not easy to stay on time.
Is everybody back in, Jenny?
Ken Cleveland is still joining. All right, everyone is back in and the meeting is unlocked.
Okay. Do we have a motion to ratify the employment agreement between the town of Bolton and Fire Chief Jeffrey Legendre?
So moved.
Second,
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
aye,
Roll call, Wysocki,
Aye.
Keep,
aye,
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion to ratify the employment agreement between the town of Bolton and Police Chief Warren Nelson?
So moved.
second,
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
aye,
Roll call, Wysocki,
Aye.
Keep,
aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Thank you.
Now do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Roll call, Wysocki,
Aye.
Keep,
aye.
Sikansky.
Aye.
And the time is 8:46.
All right. Well, thank you all
Thank
very
you.
much.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good
Good night,
evening.
everybody.